having this debate on the internet, the interwebs, the YouTubes for years. Nunchucks, can you use them for self-defense? Is it just a TV weapon, a movie weapon? Is it ridiculous? Can you fight with it? And I've expressed my opinion many times based on regular nunchucks, but this, in my opinion, ends the debate. And I didn't know all these years of messing with nunchucks, teaching nunchucks, being a martial artist, having been a military policeman, being around law enforcement, I had no idea that these were even a thing. I didn't know they existed. This is the Orcutt police nunchuck, invented by Kevin Orcutt in Colorado. And as early as like 15 years ago, or as late as 15 years ago, or not 15 years ago, in 2015, so maybe 9 years ago, some police departments were still carrying these, and I didn't even know they existed. And so I wanted to just ask the question again: are nunchucks silly? Are they a useful weapon? Can you use it for self-defense, or is it silly? Is it trash? Is it a movie weapon? Is it just, Bruce Lee made them famous, and everybody thinks they can fight with them, and you really can't? So I was talking to a law enforcement friend the other day, and he said, "Have you ever seen these old cops videos on YouTube from back in the 80s? There's a great one where this dude in Fort Lauderdale comes up and he has to chase this guy down, and he gets him out of the car. He finally gets him on the ground, and right before he puts the cuffs on him, he whips out his chucks, his police nunchucks, and gets ready to whack him. And then he realizes he was on camera, and he stops. Hello, Eleanor. So again, I didn't know they existed. The question is, are nunchucks trash? Can you use them for self-defense? And it's a silly debate that we've been having for such a long time. Those of us who know about nunchucks and know how to use them effectively as a striking tool know that it's effective for most nunchucks. The lightweight ones, the fancy ones you use for demonstrations, or the ones you see in the movies sometimes, those are not effective. But the old school, the big ones, the heavy metal, the long chain, the ones we call the dinosaur chucks, we know those hurt when you get hit with those, and that if you know how to use them, you can defend yourself. But still, we get on this, getting these debates on the internet saying, no, that's silly, you can't defend yourself. And then I find the Orcutt police nunchuck and see that they have been around for a very long time. Law enforcement guys used to carry them in a pouch, pull them out, and they would use them. Mostly the way they demonstrate them is for come-along techniques. Now, if you know anything about nunchucks and you've studied from a traditional person, they've taught you how to wrap them around a hand and create what's called pain compliance, either around the arm, the elbow, or around the ankle. There are a lot of nerves right there that run along in the muscle, along the bone, against the bone. And when you create mechanical force by, basically it's like a vice, just cranking in there, you can make somebody, and that hurts, just doing this hurts, you can make somebody move along or come along or let go or get on the ground. And so they're used for this purpose. Hey, James, welcome as a new virtual quantum student. Thank you so much for signing up. So that's the way that they are demonstrated a lot. And if you find some older police training videos of the Orcutt police nunchuck, you will also see that they are using them as two batons with a string in the middle, holding like this and then striking, try to keep that in the camera frame, striking, turning the shoulders and hips, all the things that we do to generate maximum amount of force and power. And so you can strike with a lot of force with this long stick attached with a string. And in these videos, you can also see police officers using them like Bruce Lee, doing all of the traditional things. And I'm trying to be very careful not to lose my focus and whack myself in the head, because I'm going to tell you that it's not just hard polymer, kind of like a police baton, but it's also heavy. So I can see that if you had to take out a knee, someone's coming at you with a blade, they pull something like this, and they're coming at you to stab or slash. and you have one of these, you can take it right out of his hand, and you might even break the bones in his hand with a proper strike with this nunchuck. Question was, where do we get these? I found these on eBay. No, not eBay. I just did a search on Google for Orcutt police baton, and I found a police surplus where they had like 50 of these. They didn't have any of the pouches, but I was shocked because they used to not sell these unless you were law enforcement. That was the old rule. It's like the old side handle baton. What I assume has happened is that there have been many lawsuits over these. I didn't do enough research before this video. I was just so excited. I want to share with you what I got. But my assumption is that police officers, this is a bad look, right? If you're trying to, in 2025, no one's pulling out their baton anymore. Police officers are afraid to pull out the baton and use it, especially the expandable baton. It's not as effective in my opinion, but they're not using them because there's so much negative media attention on police use of force. And so they're either using a taser, and the tasers are so much more advanced than they've ever been. We were looking at one the other day that has so many different functions, and you don't get hit by one of those. So they're very good at pain compliance with the new tasers that they use. Almighty asked if this is a response to Shadiversity, his video he made years ago. No, I made a response to that years ago. He had this ridiculous looking pair of nunchucks. It looks like he took two legs to a table and a giant rope. And he's trying to say that if you guys don't know who Shadiversity is, I'm assuming his name is Shad. I always thought he was English or something. I think he's Australian, but he made a video saying he's a HEMA guy, historical European martial arts guy. So broadswords and quarterstaffs and stuff like that. He was trying to explain that in his uneducated, inexperienced opinion, you can't fight and you can't defend yourself with nunchucks. And then Icy Mike did a bunch of videos, and if, Mike's got a channel. I can't think what it's called. You guys, if you follow him or know, I think he's a former law enforcement guy, has a martial arts school, maybe like in North Carolina or something. That's my assumption. One of those southern states. Yeah, Hard to Hurt. Thank you. Icy Mike. I always just call him Icy Mike because that's what I thought his name was. And he talks about how he's all over the place. I think sometimes he says it is a weapon you can defend yourself with. Sometimes it's not. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, the debate is over. If law enforcement used it, and the reason they no longer use it is because it looks too much like Bruce Lee, it looks too much like an offensive weapon, because when you use it appropriately and correctly in self-defense, it's gonna do its job. This is going to break bones. This will, if you crank that down, you can create a compliance point. And that's not how I would use it. It's similar to the old, the Monadnock, when they were selling the Kubotan, Mr. Kubota came up with. It's just a palm stick where you can do a lot of pain compliance points, and that actually works. Yeah, Almighty says this is a cool design. It's extremely well made. It's not breaking. You're not gonna break these. This cotton cord is tightly woven. It's extremely strong. I don't know if it's got something in it. It goes through the handle, comes out here, wraps around. And I suppose if you ever wore that out, you could restring it yourself. And then the rest of it is just a really hard polymer. You can see it has a US patent it has a US patent number on there. And then on the other side, it says Orcutt, the Orcutt Police Nunchuck, or Nunchaku. I think he probably I think he calls it the Nunchaku. And I looked around to see if Kevin Orcutt, he'd be an older dude by now, if he still teaches, if he has martial arts school or whatever. Yeah, the comment was if it's closer to you, you can be more accurate. But if you know how to strike, and we can go over that real quick, the key to striking with nunchucks, the key to doing fancy stuff with nunchucks is knowing where to hold it and to be able to, do tricks and all kinds of fancy throws and catches. That's all the movie stuff, right? And Bruce Lee, when Bruce Lee would do his movies, he kept it super simple. He did his little triangle here, which is a diagonal strike, a horizontal strike, and an upward vertical strike. So he did that very quickly. He would throw in some high-pitched screams, which I could never do in a million years with my low voice. And then he did hand-to-hand transfers in the reverse. Most people do them like this. I think I've seen him do like this once or twice in a movie, but he would do them this way. And then what else would he do? He would just do an orbital spin, just a basic spin. And he would do, he'd do figure eights, right? So really basic stuff, but he would do it with a high-pitched scream. It looked really cool. And then he would walk around smacking people in the face, and he'd be on the ground smacking people in the foot and just using them the way they're supposed to be used. But the point is, the farther away from the string you hold it, think of that as one long stick. The longer the stick, the more leverage you have. Oh, I know what he'd do. He would do up here, he would do front and back of the upper arm, and then he would do the stinky squeeze. So he would throw it down under his armpit, and then and then bam, it's bring it out and smack you in the face for self-defense. I suppose in Bruce Lee's case, yeah, his movies, he was always a good guy, so self-defense. He's standing there, bam, and he whacks you like that. But those are the basic moves. To fight with it, to defend yourself appropriately as a striking weapon, not as a come along. And again, you're just creating what's called and you can see because of the design where it wraps around, that hurts. And I'm a sadist a little bit when it comes to martial arts pressure points, but you squeeze it, and that, because of that feature there, that adds more pain in that pressure point. And then it's literally just causing so much pressure on your bone that your bone's gonna break if you don't do what the cop tells you to. When he's trying to walk you and he's holding it like a pair of vice grips, and he says, we're gonna go over here, you're gonna sit on the curb, you're gonna stop spitting on, right? Just don't spit on me, whatever he has to say, and it's gonna be very effective. Sanchez asked how they're different in use, and then it disappeared. I'm not sure what the question was exactly, but I would assume that probably they're very similar, and there are aspects of them that are very different. That's true with most styles of martial arts weapons. That if they come from another style, they have a lot of similarities because of the way they're made, but then to each martial art, there's a unique set of moves. But like I said, I think if you're holding here, you create maximum force. If you know how to strike, and the biggest complaint that people have is if I hit him, it's gonna bounce back and it's gonna hit me, right? If you follow through and you know how to strike, and you're turning through your shoulders and hips, and you're using a full strike, using your whole body, using your arm, coming through at this angle especially. You can also do it horizontally, coming across. You can also do it vertically, coming straight down. Then you're not gonna hit yourself. And if it bounces off of him, then because your arm is still pulling it, it's not coming back and whacking you in the face. So that argument is done. Would it be effective? Would you create stopping power? Can you hit somebody hard enough with this Orcutt police nunchaku to make him stop coming at you with the knife? Yeah, you can break his hand, you can smash the knife out of his hand, or he's coming at you with the knife, you reach forward because you have reach advantage. That's another great benefit of this police nunchuck. You have reach advantage. You can hit him before he can slice you, stab you, take your life from you. You're defending yourself. You can reach out and whack him right into the temple, across the jaw, into that neck, that process of nerves that flush the blood from his head, and he falls to the ground unconscious for a moment, and then you wrap him up, tie him up, or walk away or run away for self-defense. But so you have reach advantage. You can come through smashing, whatever you can remove or destroy, his ability to see, his ability to come after you, to be awake, all those things that we talk about in self-defense. You can also go for joints. This is like all weapons, all sticks. This is just 2 sticks on a string. You're gonna aim for joints. They're gonna break faster than the bones in the arm and the leg, for self-defense. You can take out his knee. Maybe it's that vicious dog while you're out for a walk, walking your little beautiful member of your family, your little dog, and then some nasty pit bull who's running around the neighborhood, got off a leash, been abused, is looking for something to wrap, to destroy a person, because they keep attacking, they maul people all the time, and maybe you have to defend yourself. Well, this has enough weight in it, and it's hard enough that that's going to crack skulls, that's going to slow people down, slow animals down for self-defense. So in my opinion, and I'm going to do more of a breakdown the more I use it, we're going to play around with it a little bit with techniques that we use traditionally with nunchucks. I'll go until I whack myself really good and see, I'll report back how hard it, or how bad it hurts. I know already it's going to hurt a lot. I think that'll take your teeth out. That'll break your glasses for sure. The end is not sharp, but if you know how to strike, you could probably slice flesh a little bit with that. But it's going to work. It's going to be extremely effective in self-defense. And the reason that I think police probably don't carry them now is, I understand where Kevin Orcutt was probably coming from. If you know how to use the nunchuck in the traditional way, it is a very effective come-along tool. It is a very effective distance tool. And when it's made correctly, this is made beautifully. I mean, the weight is beautiful. The materials are amazing. This will probably last a couple hundred years. I mean, this might dry out and rot, but it's just so well put together. Marty Almighty says he would take this over the expandable baton, and I would too. And it's just because the expandable baton, I just don't think has enough weight to it. Traditional baton does, especially a traditional baton made out of a polymer like this, like the monadnock batons. This has enough weight. This has a lot more weight, and because of the pivot point, the joint, it is going, if you know how to use that joint, you're going to be able to strike with so much more force. Now back to, if you strike, you're going to hurt yourself. The other question that people have is, if I go forward like this, it's just going to reach forward and smash me in the knuckles, and that hurts in the fingers. And yes, it will do that. That's why you have to know how to use it correctly, and not just take all of your instructions from the comic books or the Ninja Turtles cartoons or whatever. There is something called a handbrake, where when you come forward, you simply open your hand a little bit, and that pulls a lot of the speed out of the strike. It breaks it, and you can see it doesn't allow it to come back and hit me in the hand. So if you learn how to do your strikes full and correctly, and then also learn how to wrap your body with a lot of the strikes, coming over the shoulder, coming across the hip, you're also not going to be whacking yourself in the fingers. So people who grow up messing around with nunchucks and don't really learn how to use them, and then whack themselves really hard, hit their hand, and some people don't even get to that, because they make those foam, and they think, oh, I need foam, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to break my skull open, and I'm going to see the gray matter of my brain. No, you're not. Get yourself a good pair. This would even be a good starting pair, because every time you do hit yourself in the wrong spot because you did it wrong, you're going to learn faster, and you're going to realize you're not going to die. But using something like this, you are going to realize too that you can slow somebody down, and you can defend yourself, especially if you have like an Orcutt police nunchaku, Orcutt police nunchaku, OPN is what I kept seeing. I doubt you could carry this any city or state where they have those, what I think are archaic laws against like brass knuckles and nunchucks. And the reason that I say that is like a kitchen knife, like the knife that I used to cut up my daughter's chicken for her dinner tonight. That big old kitchen knife is 10,000 times scarier to me than a pair of brass knuckles or a nunchuck. And crazy people are walking around with kitchen knives. There was a crazy guy who went into a Target store, I think it was in Phoenix, and asked a lady to see a set of kitchen knives that were on display. She had to go to the back to get a pair or a set. He said, I want to buy them. She comes out, he punches her in the face, takes her knives, runs down the street out of the store to a police call box on the side of a police station, calls for them to come out. The cop comes out, and then he starts to attack the cop with a knife. Just a crazy guy, wanted to kill a cop. And he ended up losing his life, not the police officer. He got cut a couple times. Thankfully, and he did some things wrong. He was too close. His guard was down. You can never let your guard down, especially with all the crazies. And he was able to stop the guy eventually when he got some distance from him. But the point is, those things are scarier than this. And these are outlawed in different places. But I think they're just really old laws written by old hillbillies who said, them nunchucks are gonna kill people. We need to take away the nunchucks. It's back in the day when they said that, you used to have to register, if you were a black belt, you had to register your black belt and your fists at the local courthouse because they were deadly weapons. Well, I don't think that ever happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did somewhere, not just in the South, but maybe like some hippie place like California or New York City or Chicago or something like that, where they just don't like any masculinity, the toxic masculinity, whatever they call it. So my point is, sorry, I got sidetracked. If you're not allowed to carry these where you live, you should always look that up first. And usually if you go to a website like in the United States and you try to buy something and they know that you can't have it, they're not gonna sell it to you anyway. But a lot of places you're allowed to carry. Yeah, Almighty says, some people think switchblades. I've got a beautiful switchblade in the house that I've had for years and years that I promised my son when he gets older. And not because it's a self-defense tool, it's just a pretty knife. These one-hand opening blades have been outlawed in the Great White North up in Canada. So it depends on where you live. Some places you can't defend yourself. They don't want you to defend yourself. A lot of laws are changing, as we can see these days. There's some common sense coming back in the world. But if you can get a pair of these and you can carry them for self-defense, like I said, I think the debate is settled. It's over for me. Can you defend yourself? You don't think you can? Defend yourself with a pair of nunchucks. It's a moving weapon. It's goofy, it's stupid. You believe in Shadiversity, or Icy Mike said you can't. They just haven't seen these. I would guarantee. I mean, I was in law enforcement. I'd never seen them. And I was talking to another set of West Coast guys who have been, one's in law enforcement now, one previously was in law enforcement, one was law enforcement here in Florida. I just don't think we had these in Ohio. And when I went through Marine Corps military police school and through the Air Force, we didn't have them back then. So yeah, a lot of people think the nunchucks are useless for self-defense, and they're right. If you get a pair of those, like, speed chucks that are made for demonstrations, like I used to have tons of them. I have a couple left that, I used to teach all my students. I had a demo team, I had a competition team. We would go and win tournaments, and there was always like what they call creative weapons, non-traditional. They had traditional weapons, non-traditional weapons, musical weapons. They have all these different things, and then they had team competition for demos. And I got guys flipping and spinning and doing things that have nothing to do with martial arts but look cool because the Ninja Turtles did it and the Power Rangers did it, and everybody clapping. None of it was practical martial arts, self-defense kind of stuff, but it's fun to look at. But that'll work for self-defense. So let me know in the comment section, have you seen these already? I didn't even know they existed up until maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And as soon as the second time I talked about them with a couple of law enforcement guys, and they're like, yeah, we've seen them, or one of them had used them, the other one had seen them. I got online and I found them, and I've been waiting every day, checking the mail like a little kid. Where are my new nunchucks? And here they are. And I'm looking for a holster. And once I get them, just for fun, I might put them on my duty belt. I won't really. That'll probably get me in trouble. But I'll find a way to use these. We'll make more videos. We'll talk about the usefulness, the effectiveness, and then we'll go over techniques. Maybe we'll get some of those, make some of those silly videos, get like a watermelon and a pineapple, and some apples, throw the apple up in the air, smash it, see if we can smash the pineapple in half, see what it does to a watermelon, which means absolutely nothing, except for if you ever fought a fruit, that's what it would look like. But let me know in the comment section if you've seen these before, what's your opinion of them? Do you still think it's a trash weapon? I think the debate's settled. Law enforcement carry these, and I did a little bit of research. There were many jurisdictions or departments that use these. I don't know if it was 10, 20, 30. It seems like it was more than 10. And I would bet, like I said before, that they don't carry them anymore because of lawsuits, because they're so effective, and they create so much pain. It's a really bad optic when you have people putting them in a come along technique. It's not as bad as when you're zapping them with the taser, but everybody's accepted that now. Everybody's used to that. They're not used to seeing a cop pull his nunchucks out and get ready to, go out and crank people down and make them comply. And people don't even like the idea of someone being able to make you comply. But if you're a piece of dog crap and you hurt people and you're out, then some of those guys need to comply. Sometimes it's used inappropriately on the wrong people, and the wrong people are forced to comply with tyrannical ruling or whatever. But then the world goes back the other way, and we all learn how to grow from those things. Anyway, let me know, what do you think? Trash still, or can you see, like me, that the debate is now settled? You can defend yourself with the appropriate prayer, the right kind of nunchucks, and the proper techniques. But put that in the comment section if you would. Sanchez asked how you become a virtual student. There should be a button in your player. It depends on where you live. Some countries don't allow that. If you have a VPN, I use VPNs for all my devices, virtual networks, virtual private network maybe. I forget what it stands for now. But it puts me in different countries. So it doesn't say I'm always where I am, and that's just to protect the privacy. So if you have your VPN on, it might not show up, but it should show up. If you watch one of the videos, it should be a button that you click. It says join under near the description of the video. But if you want to join, please do that. Hit the join button. You don't have to. I do all these videos for free. I try to give as much value as I can. I learn from you as you guys learn from me. If you know of other tools like this that I haven't heard of, because now, and that's the great thing about being an open-minded martial artist, is that I know I don't know everything. I know for a fact that there's more that I don't know than I do know. There are more things about martial arts that I haven't learned than I do learn. And if you can take that approach to martial arts, then you can just keep learning your whole life. You keep absorbing, keep learning new things. Some things you'll love, some things you'll think are silly at first. Later you'll come back around to and you'll say, oh, I didn't understand them at that level of understanding or training, or I didn't know that application. Now I see it differently. And some things you'll say, this is the only way. And then later you'll say, oh, that wasn't the only way. There's 7 other ways. And maybe there are 3 that are better than that. But keep your mind open as a martial artist. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't believe the lies of people who say there's only one right way to do anything. There never is. And keep looking for things like this. If you find something like this, please let me know. Put it in the comment section. If you've seen the Orcutt police nunchaku, if you know Mr. Orcutt, if he's still around, if he's out there, reach out. I'd love to pick his brain and understand. Javier Ramos is here from Fort Myers. Welcome from Fort Myers. Fort Myers is beautiful right now. It's beautiful over here in West Palm Beach today. It's been beautiful the last couple of days. A little bit more humid. I'm starting to sweat again, but I am not complaining. We live down here in paradise. But let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts? And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm probably gonna do another one of these pretty quickly because I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna walk around tomorrow when I have some time. I'm gonna strike some things with it. I'm gonna get, a bunch of time, some hand time. You call it FaceTime when you talk to people. I'm gonna get some hand time with these nunchucks and see what they really can do. But the weight is just perfect. The balance is perfect. The materials are perfect. And I'm sure this is not a brand new pair. This was carried by law enforcement. You can see they've scratched in their department, LDP. I don't know what LDP is. or is it yeah, LDP. Oh, it's funny. It says LPD on one and LDP on the other one. Someone labeled it wrong. It should be, so LPD, I don't know, maybe it's Long Beach Police Department, or Loyola, maybe it was the college police department. It's somebody's police department, but I'll look that up too, see if I can figure out which police department carried these, where do they likely come from. But that's just, I think that's cool too. Somebody walking a beat, somebody on patrol, somebody doing the job, carried these, possibly used them for self-defense or for law enforcement, and they really work. So let me know, what do you think? And then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.